Hi, welcome to the video where I teach you how to sound like a prepubescent teenager. I mean, how to sound like a tall tree, where I teach you how to sound like a dying seal. God damn it. 2D. This one. This one. I'm gonna teach you how to do angry spikes. My microphone kind of sounds like shit, and this is not going to be scripted, so I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. So, one of the first steps to learning how to do a voice is just doing a lot of research. It may not seem like much to you at first, but it'll actually help you in the long run. With 2D, it is just a series of sitting there on your computer like a worthless piece of shit, just like me, and you just listen to the voice for an utmost of like days, weeks, months. Just try to listen to the voice and see how the person talks, how they act, what it sounds like, how it's pitched, what's the accent, all of that. You need to kind of just study on what you plan on doing. If this is going to be like a rushed sort of thing where you need to know right away, then I say just watch through like a few of their videos, maybe like an interview or something, or just like snippets where it's 2D talking about fucking orange juice. I don't know. Just do whatever works for you in whatever amount of time that you have. But what I'm going to say is the more research you do, the better you're gonna sound, because it'll be more accurate. Okay, step 2, the big one. Learning how to lower your voice and not sound either too high or too low. Sometimes you actually have to raise your voice, but generally it's just changing the pitch of your voice. Obviously, 2D does not sound this deep and disgusting, so I tend to actually just raise my voice just a little bit. But for a lot of people that I know, it's mostly about lowering your voice. Now, you'll hear this a lot. A lot of girls will tell you that lowering their voice is actually really difficult to do. And I will go against that, because being the creature abomination I am, although I am male and all of that thing and stuff, I am just a trans male, so my voice is not naturally this deep all the time. I'm not even on testosterone yet. This is just me doing a really deep voice because I taught myself. Now you may ask, how the hell did you do that? I don't know how to do that. Can you tell me how to lower my voice? I can teach you gladly. The most important thing about lowering your voice is having water. You need this. This is your life essence. You want to have very, very cold water. Like, as cold as it can be. Just get it from freaking the North Pole, okay? You're gonna need this cold water, and every time you drink, you want to sort of breathe in, just very deep breaths. Breathe in very slowly, because what you're basically trying to do is you're going to get your good old vocal cords to just expand, because that is going to give you a deeper voice. So, if you do that, you want to focus on your breathing, swallow very deeply when you drink your water, and then just try and push out the lowest voice that you can. So yeah, that is the basics of it. Just try to practice doing that a lot. It actually helps if you have someone to talk to and use your newfound manliness on them. Or you could just talk to yourself, I don't know. I don't know what kind of life you have, I don't know what your choices are, but to get a more masculine voice, you want to do that as much as possible so that your vocal cords can become accustomed to using a lower voice. Because last time I checked, 2D does not sound like a valley girl. Step 3. Now you're knowing the basics, you did your research, you lowered your voice, now it's all about trying to sound like that tall stick that everyone wants to be, for some reason. The most important part about our stick child is that he is not American. He is from Britain. He is a English person, so he does not have a American accent. Now, to achieve a British accent in general, you would need to do even more research, actually. Watching a lot of people, or even just talking to people who have the accent is great to do, because oftentimes if you watch or you interact with people with a certain accent, you can sometimes learn how to pick up on it. For the most part, it's all about trying to get a sort of thing going on with your voice. If you want to sound more British and not American, then there's going to be certain vowels that you will need to either pull or retract or just get rid of completely. For 2D, he does not say his H's. He does not say his T's in a word like midway. Instead of saying like after, you would say after. It's kind of hard to explain actually, because I am not a British person. You're probably better off just watching a lot of videos to sort of figure all of that out. And while you're at it, try looking at some Cockney accents for British, because he does not sound the sort of average posh British that everyone would kind of go towards. It's actually more of the London accent, if that makes any sense. So you've got your accent and you think it sounds really good. So the next thing that you would have to do is getting the good old voice cracks in your voice and his wonderful lisp. For 2D, he has a voice that often goes up and down, up and down, up and down, depending on mood and emotions and everything like that. Most of the time, he sounds something like this. Sometimes when I talk, my voice changes sometimes, and it goes up and down, depending on how and what I'm talking about. So you gotta get that in, and then next after that you need your lisp, because without your lisp you got your front teeth, and 2D does not have his front teeth. So to get the lisp, you want to replace your THs with like an F instead of a T instead, and then a lot of other things can get screwed around with a lisp. Along with that, usually you're going to give stuff like, instead of a H, is going to be like an av instead of have. Generally part of the accent, if you didn't know already, there's going to be stuff like that. So you put those together, and then you sound something like this, and you've got a lisp that is going to bother you for the rest of your life. And if I try to say something with a TH in it, it's going to sound like thing instead of thing, because no two front teeth, which is important. So If you made it this far, then congratulations! You're almost there! Yay! Why am I celebrating? Oh god, ow. Anyways, the last thing you need to know is speech patterns and mannerisms and other things that only 2D would do. 2D has a lot of ums in his speech. He sounds quite timid. He sometimes pauses when he talks. Sometimes he has to think about what words he wants to say. And generally he talks a bit slower than other people. And you also need to get your lovely British insults in there. So there's like the usual words like bloody hell and things like that. And then you've got sort of blummin', you'll git, you gaff, you golf, all that sort of stuff. And you're going to want to add that into the way you talk. And sometimes 2D, he addresses girls as love. Sometimes he does that. Love, like L-U-V. Generally, you would need to do just a bit more research, just sort of listen to the voice and get in some more of that. Try to copy lines that he says and until you think you've got everything you need to do it right. And then after that, you should have a 2D accent and voice, and you can sound like 2D whenever you feel like it. And Modoc's gonna kill me if he finds out that I've been sitting here making a video about how to sound like myself, because that makes no sense, I guess. Hope you liked watching this video. I hope it wasn't boring as hell, and I will see you next time. Maybe in the third skit, or just some other stupid video. I don't know what's going on. Bye!